Right, welcome back to another video. This time I'm just talking about why I'm not buying bread from the store anymore. So here it goes. I've been doing this for about a year, probably longer than a year now. It's just been a build-up of a lot of things that I've been doing in the past lately, in the past few years, because of my dog and his health issues. And I started looking into ingredient labels for my dog quite a bit, for his dog food and everything, and basically introduced that for myself in order to learn a bit more about what I'm putting in my stomach and what it does to my health. So yeah, the biggest factor for me to make my own bread is basically the ingredients. And once you look at it once you look at the ingredient label on the back of the packet on anything that you find in the store, once you start looking at it, you can't unsee of how much crap is actually in the products that you're getting. And it just blew my mind, the amount of times that I've been shaking my head while reading the ingredient labels, and I was like, this is just not real. Why is there so much stuff in this that doesn't even have to be in there? Some of the things you can easily make yourself. It just needs time adjustment. I was saying, well, I'm eating bread every day, so just gonna make my own. And that's how it started, because most of the breads, they last for 3 or more weeks in the fridge, which is absolutely crazy. So what I've been buying was mainly white bread. And after a while, since my stomach couldn't tolerate it anymore, I was literally having to move to whole grain. And I learned after a while that whole grain, or the flour in general, the process of how they make it to put it in the store to make a longer shelf life is literally heat process as well, which is not ideal because it takes all the nutrients out of it too, and it's basically the same as if you would buy store-bought, but you make it yourself. So that's why they add a few nutrients into the white flour in order to make it compliant, basically, to the rules of the UK government. Yeah, so it's not healthy for the stomach because there is no natural stuff in it, and therefore, yeah, it just upset my gut after a while. It's nice to have, it's a nice smell when you toast it, but that's about it. There is no life in it anymore, basically. I started with white bread, then I moved to whole wheat, and even that upset me completely. So what I did after a while, since there's a bread recipe on the package itself, I basically started to adapt. So I bought whole grain flour, like bread flour, whole grain, and I bought some simple baking flour, white flour, and I'm mixing that together to make a mixture of 2 to 3, basically, having a bit of white and a bit of brown flour in it. That seems to work pretty well for the moment for me in order to get my gut going and have bread every day. But yeah, it's not ideal. It is not ideal, the store-bought flour, because like I said, the heat process is just taking all the nutrients away, and the grain itself is getting stripped of the nutrients by removing the outer shell and stuff. So it's not great. What I'd love to move towards to is basically to make my own flour from einkorn grains. Yeah, it's just not in the budget right now, because these mills at the moment are just crazy expensive. I think 200 is the minimum that you can get. Yeah, it's not nice, but yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to and I'm working towards too, in order to get my own flour going, which will be so much different to my gut health, as well as with the yeast. So the next situation is the yeast, which is not ideal for my case, for my completely destroyed gut at the moment. It is dried yeast from the store, like dried instant yeast, and it's not great. It's not great either. I tried doing the sourdough starter. I just can't stand the smell. That's the first thing. I can't stand the smell. The second thing is I don't have a constant 20-degree room temperature in this van. I'm living mostly in 10 degrees in the springtime, and in the winter it goes down even more. So it's not that I have perfect room temperatures for this starter to rise and keep the whole time, which is not good. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it anyway. I started it in last December. I started making it, and I tried it. It just didn't rise. It just didn't work. So I had to stop this for a while and just continue back with the instant yeast, which is not good either. So I'm gonna have to, yeah, in the future maybe I'm gonna go back on it if I have constant room temperature of 20 degrees or higher, if I go in warmer countries. Otherwise I will not be able to do it, and I just keep having to use the dry yeast, but instead use better flour. So yeah, that's for the starter. Yeah, so that's basically the whole point of why I'm doing my own bread. I eat bread every day, and I have only a small pot that I'm using to make it because my oven is not that big. So I'm using, I think, sometimes every day if I use a lot of bread, and sometimes every 2 to 3 days that I bake. I try to make a lot, like 3 to 4 loaves, and then freeze some of them. I just have not been able to make one of those things because it's just gone so fast, because it really is tasty. It's almost like the crust is the same as the sourdough bread, which is amazing. As I said, I've started my own mixture, which is literally mixed between whole grain and white, and the crust is absolutely amazing. I love the crust. So yeah, I'm baking every 2 to 3 days basically, sometimes every 3 to 4 depending on how much I eat. It is a hassle, yes it is, but it's better than eating the store-bought stuff with preservatives, fillers, additives, seed oils, and all that stuff that they put in it, and it's just not good. I don't want to do it anymore. I decided for myself I do not want to eat anything with those fillers, additives, preservatives in it. And that's how I've been rolling for over a year now. And yeah, sticking to it. If I can't buy it in the store, I just don't have it. That's my motto at the moment. It's tough sometimes because some stuff looks really good, like brownies and croissants and stuff like that. Nope, can't have it. Can't make it myself, can't have it. So yeah, it's basically my own decision to do this at the moment. The good thing is I basically know what's going in it. They put in the ingredient list on the package, and I just read whole wheat flour, and that's it, which is great. At my bread at the moment I put rosemary and nettle in it, but like the addition to what you can put in the dough is absolutely endless. You can do whatever flavors you wish, chocolate bits, olives, anything, just as you wish. And that's crazy because what you would buy in the shop for an olive bread is just crazy, and you just make it yourself for half the price at least. So that's just, yeah, one good point for that. As well as, yeah, I'm not using any seed oils, and I left that behind over a year ago. It's probably now 2 years that I'm not using any seed oils anymore, and most of the breads use sunflower or rapeseed oil. Not happening. I use olive oil, and that's all that goes into my stuff. I'm kind of curious as well, are you making your own bread, or are you still buying it from the store? And do you read ingredient labels, or you just brush it off and say whatever, looks good, tastes good, I don't care? And I might do a full video breakdown on ingredient labels, how to read them and how to understand them, if that's something you're interested in. I'll see you next time. Until then, bye bye.